up guys, Thaddeus here. Welcome to the channel if you are new. In today's video, we're literally just gonna talk about drop shipping in 2018, kind of like the state of the market and what's different, kind of just like what you should expect, right? Jumping into drop shipping in the year 2018. If you're watching this in 2019, well, you're too late. Oh, come on! Okay, so number one, guys, this really relates to kind of how I market my products when I'm drop shipping, which is with Instagram influencers, okay? And kind of how it's changed, I guess, over time is like, so basically I got started drop shipping two and a half years ago, okay? And back then it was a lot easier to just hey, buy a shout out from an influencer, they throw it up, everyone kind of sees it on their feed, and you can drive traffic and get a purchase, right? And there's a lot of changes that have occurred from those 2 years, guys. Like, one, Instagram's API has changed, like the algorithm. Everyone knows, the Facebook's algorithm for scrolling down the news feed. It's not chronological, neither is Instagram's. They use kind of their own API to kind of determine what pages they might think you'd be more interested in, okay? Most of the time, that's more personal pages, like people you actually follow that you know in person. And a lot of times, they try and push away, these accounts that sell shoutouts because they want, us dropshippers paying for ads on Instagram or Facebook, because that's how they make their money, right? So that's kind of a thing that has occurred between these two and a half years. And because of that, guys, with Instagram influencers in general, it's just like how you market, you need to change. You always got to be willing to adapt to these market changes. And one of the things that I personally had to do, right, over these 2 years is when I very first started dropshipping, guys, you'll even notice in my first videos, I sometimes touch on Instagram influence and the size of these pages that I want to work with. Before, right, I would always say, guys, look for pages above 400,000 followers, less than 1 million, depending on your budget, stuff like that, 400K to 1 million followers, right? That was kind of the prime range that I personally looked at, okay? That was 2 years ago. Now, because of this change in the market, right, dropshipping is a lot more, popular, I guess you could say. There's more people trying to get their feet wet in that sort of industry. And so because of that, there's sort of a market equilibrium going on, where there's a lot of people that are buying accounts on Instagram, inflating them with followers, inflating them with fake engagement, and then trying to capitalize on all these new dropshippers trying to rush into the industry, buy a bunch of shoutouts, get a bunch of money, and get rich quick, right? So that there's a whole market of just people selling you fake shoutouts, okay? And that's something that I've also tried to warn you guys as well in some other videos and stuff like that. It's there's people that just want your money, and they'll offer you cheaper rates for Instagram shoutouts, but all in all, it's they're not actual Instagram influencers, right? They don't actually have a real presence. Their accounts are just flooded with bots, flooded with fake engagement, and then inflated essentially to make it look appealing to you, to want to post your product on their feed or on their story to try and get traffic to your store, but then ultimately you don't really get much traffic, okay? There's a few ways to go about that. One, I started working with pages that were either really small in size or very big in size, that they've just been around for forever, like World Star, for example, okay? They're huge. Now, if you look on the smaller side of things, guys, typically smaller accounts, they're actually growing them, right? These guys that are trying to take your money, they'll just buy a bunch of followers right off the bat, and then start trying to they'll DM you, they'll DM other stores to try and get your attention, to get you shoutouts, because it looks like a really big page. They offer reasonable rates, right? And then you kind of go for them, and you're just okay, well, that's something to be wary of, okay? Now, why I go with smaller influencers, because most of the time, if they're still kind of small and growing, they're actually trying to grow organically, okay? And that's really key, is because a page with 80,000 followers that's all legitimate is much better than a page with 500,000 followers where the influencers probably bought a majority of them, okay, and a majority of the engagement as well, okay? So that's something to keep in mind, because oftentimes too, these smaller pages charge a lot less, okay? I myself have spent $10 on a shout out with a $300, $400, $500 return, depending on my products and the tiering, and just, obviously there's a lot of stuff that goes into that and the conversion of that, but the fact is you can get shout outs really cheap and have a really good conversion rate on them because you're working with smaller accounts, okay? So that's just something to note, guys, kind of my perspective on, kind of being in this industry for so long, is that, especially around social media and the funnel that I preach, right, is we start with Instagram influencers, and because of that, you kind of have to look at what's changed, what's going on. And me personally, it's okay, I used to go for these big pages, 40K to 1 million, now I have to take a step back, realize that it's kind of flooded. There still are good pages, guys, don't get me wrong, but it's flooded with people that inflate that, right? So now it's okay, I'm not gonna look at this chunk, I'm gonna go for the polars, right? So I'm either go for the really big pages over here, or the really, really small pages over here, okay? Small pages are organic, they're cheaper. The big pages, like, they've just been around forever and they have a huge presence. They're usually not inflated or faked or anything like that, okay? So that's kind of one thing that I've noticed about dropshipping. In 2018, guys, going into that, it's like, hey, maybe like try and test out smaller influencers or really, really big influencers depending on your budget, okay? Number 2, guys, dropshipping, there's a lot of people trying to go into it. There's a lot of people trying to do it. Now, what does that mean? Essentially, what it means for you, it's a good thing to keep an eye on this, right? It's people will flock to a certain niche or industry that they see, you know, relatively more people having success in, right? So if they see, you know, 5 guys making a lot of money in, you know, some sort of industry, you'll see like a majority of people kind of like flock over there, right? And for you, even if you're new, experienced, so it doesn't itch on my back, for you, basically you can look at this, right? Because people will flock to, you know, an industry with money. And again, guys, what I tell you is look for competitors, look for competition. It means there's a lot of money in this space that you can grab if you can market your product better, position your brand better, stuff like that, okay? So when you're actually trying to, you know, decide, hey, what do I want to sell? What do I want to, you know, what niche do I want to jump into? What, you know, how do I want to like position my brand, luxury, affordable, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of things that go into play. It's like, hey, well, look to where everyone's going and see if you can do something similar in a similar industry, in a slightly different niche, like something like that. But just seeing that, hey, everyone's flocking this way, you can kind of like look that way and then capitalize on it, okay? Like, just market better than most people. Most people suck at marketing, guys. Like, anyone can make a site, anyone can say they're a dropshipper or an entrepreneur if they make a website and you know, have the apps installed and then have a few products thrown on their site, right? But most people can't get the marketing side of things down. And I mean, it's hard, it's complex at times. Once you understand it, it's a fairly simple process to rinse and repeat and replicate for a bunch of different stores, guys. So that's one of the things to look for first. Like in 2018, guys, going into 2018, there's a lot of people trying to dropship. There's a lot of people going there, and everyone's just, you know, jumping from one thing to the next, the next, the next. And don't get me wrong, if you're good at dropshipping, you can do that and make a lot of money. You can just cash out on these different trends. But a lot of people are just jumping there, realizing, you know, hey, this is a little harder than I thought. Looking around again, trying to find another guy who's doing well in a different industry, jumping over there and saying, oh, well, this is also harder than I thought. And they keep moving around and they just don't see success in it because they're not really like kind of like buckling down and trying to figure things out, okay? So that's another thing going into 2018, guys, is just, especially if you're kind of like trying to understand where you want to go, look at what everyone's doing and then kind of analyze that, okay? I'm not saying do what they're doing, right? Because you might just fall into the majority, right? But look at what they're doing and analyze, like, can I market better? Can I position my brand better, okay? Stuff like that. Now, number 3, guys, is that this kind of plays into both the things I talked about, but because the industry is getting popular, because it's getting popular, guys, it should get really, really easy to start dropshipping. Now, what does that mean, right? I mean, if you guys have like looked around the app stores and stuff like that, you'll notice that, you know, Oberlo was like the app to have. It still relatively is. That's why I'm saying going into 2018, like, be on the lookout. But Oberlo like is the app to have for, you know, dropshipping on Shopify, right? But as you'll notice, and I've been contacted by a bunch of emails of these companies that want me to like shout out their new app and stuff like that. But I'm not trying to like be a sellout. But they're like, hey, we're the new Oberlo. We're the new, you know, app that, you know, we can fulfill orders and contact you with wholesalers, blah, blah, blah. Stuff like that, guys. But then again, right, because it's getting popular, there's a lot more competition in the space. This is what I'm telling you guys. In dropshipping, you look for competition to see where you want to start. Now, there's companies that are making these apps, these softwares like Oberlo and stuff like that, that are actually gonna help you. It's gonna make dropshipping easier. They're gonna try and compete with everything you use to ultimately just make it easier to get in dropshipping, more cost effective to get in dropshipping and stuff like that, guys. So all in all, like, it's a good thing to start dropshipping now if you haven't, because now is the time to start. By the way, great time to plug the free mini course in link description or the mastery course, always plug. Now, those are the 3 things, guys. Like, literally watch out like for market changes, guys. Always be willing to adapt in the dropshipping industry, guys. I've been in here for 2.5 years, and I've noticed things that kind of like really, really large changes that if I didn't adapt to, I would have not made nearly as much money, okay? Like the Instagram thing, for example, okay? So that's one thing, guys. And again, just because a lot of people trying to do it, if you're confused, trying to get your feet wet in the industry and don't know where to go, look at where everyone's going and just analyze that, okay? And then, guys, it should be getting easier to dropship. I'm not gonna say it's easier to market, but that's like kind of why I'm here. I'm trying to help you guys like figure out, you know, how to position your brand, how to get exposure, eyeballs, and traffic to your stores. But all in all, it should get generally easier to dropship. That kind of makes sense. I kind of went over that, right? My head's chopped off in the video, but that's the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, comment. I respond to everybody's comments, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're doing a video a day, and I don't know, it's fun. So I like helping you guys out, and just getting the feedback from you guys. So that's the video, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Be on the lookout for a $0 to $10,000 in 1 week challenge, guys. There's a lot of people doing 0 to 1,000, but like, come on, 0 to 1,000, that's 7 days to make $1,000. That's not good. So that's what I'm gonna do, guys. Trying to do 0 to 10K, maybe even more in a week kind of challenge. So be on the lookout for that. I'm gonna like document the entire process and stuff like that. So that's the video, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Peace. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Check out the Ecom Hub, my personal platform, which covers literally everything e-commerce related, from the mastery course to free PDFs and mini courses. And last but not least, don't forget to check out my social media and follow me for updates, giveaways, and literally everything that's cool.